Hi guys, it's Rachel G. Thank you for joining me on this video today. I am just very grateful of all the support and all the likes and the comments and the shares and all of that good stuff. I really appreciate it. And speaking of the comments, I have a comment. I just got it and it is from Miss Z. She said, "Can you please make a video talking about dating and hair loss? Like, I am so insecure about telling whoever I get married to about my hair loss." So I feel you, girl. Like, I feel you. So let me get comfortable. So I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna be like, I'm not gonna research it and look at what other people said. I'm just gonna talk to you as a friend. Like, I just read that and I'm just gonna respond, right? So I have 3 tips for you. I thought about it and I came up with 3 ideas that may help you, hopefully, right? The first one is to introduce the guy that you're interested in to your parents. And it may seem really like, what does your parents have to do with it? Or your grandparents have to do it. So your parents and your grandparents, right? It's really good. And here's why. Because you will eventually look like your mother and then your grandma. So you will see, based on his reaction, if that bothers him or not. I just think that's like such a big giveaway. My husband thinks my mom is beautiful. Now, not like he's not attracted to her, but he thinks she is beautiful, and that's a really good sign for me. Because, gosh, in a couple years, guess what I'm gonna look like? And same with him. Like, I see in his family, and they all look so young. Like, his parents are in their 50s and they can look like they're 35 to 40. Like, they could pass for 35 if they tried, but they look like in their 40s. They do take care of themselves too, which is like a really good sign. So letting him meet your parents is a really good thing, because then he'll see the future. Like, if you don't have hair loss now and it runs in your family, then he'll know what to expect, and I'm hoping that will, it won't be like a shock for him later, and it shouldn't be. Also, if it's like if some sort of illness runs in your family, like if your parents have certain illness and then you're prone to have that illness or disease or whatever it is, he will know. Like, if cancer runs in your family and you tell him, like, someone in your family has cancer, he would put that together, that there's a possibility that you may have cancer when you're older. Now, God forbid, I'm not saying that, but I'm just using that as an example. So meeting your family is a really good way for him to know what to expect. And based off his reaction towards that, you can make a decision about if you want to be with him, honestly, right? I think this video is going to be about, like, more about what you want than what he wants. My second tip for you is to really learn his values. Now, I'm going to talk to you about my perspective, because there's nothing more that I hate than a guy who takes, like, forever getting dressed. Like, it's like a pet peeve of mine. I know a lot of guys. They're in my family and they're my friends. Don't get me wrong, but, like, they take forever getting dressed. Like, they take like an hour getting dressed, and then you walk into their room and they sprayed cologne everywhere, and they're the type of guys, they don't spray it on themselves, they spray it and then they walk through it. Like, it's like this whole big thing. Like, I would be late going to an event because my friend or my cousin, their guys, are They took like an hour getting dressed, and I'm there sitting waiting for them to get dressed. I'm not lying. This has happened. And then we get to the event and everyone's looking at me like I took forever. I'm like, no, it wasn't me. It was them. And so like there are things that like I'm like, I do not want in a guy. Like I do not want to be with that type of guy. And believe it or not, there are some guys who may feel the exact same way. Like they don't want to be with a girl who takes forever getting dressed, to do her hair and her makeup, and it's really something that they just don't care for. Like they just don't care for. I hate saying it like that, but it's just not in their cards. Like, you know, like I that's the thing, like for me, I don't want a guy who is like not prettier than me, but like takes more time to get prettier, you know, like if we're going to an event and it's taking me an hour, it should not take him an hour. And the thing is, like, I get out the house in 15 minutes, like literally, like I'm dressed in 15 minutes. If he's taking more than 15 minutes, there's a problem. So I don't know. I just think it's really about what you value, and you'll be surprised how many guys really don't care about that. Like really, they don't care about having thin hair. Like they just don't care. And it sounds silly, but like my husband doesn't really care. He does not care. Tell you what though, there are a lot of guys who care about having like big boobs or a big butt. I'm sorry, they may care about that a little bit more, but it's okay. I mean, that's natural, right? I don't know. I should not say that, but I mean, everyone's attracted to their own thing, you know, and some guys it may matter to them, but some guys it really would not matter. Like they don't care about that at all. But yeah, I'm like thinking of so many inappropriate things, but I'm like, Rachel, this is the internet. You just can't be saying stuff like that. Okay, but you'd be surprised how like people just care for like particular things, and you'll be surprised of how much they don't care about. Especially guys, they don't care about a lot of things. The point is to figure out what are your values, because when you figure out what are your values, it's going to attract a guy with the same values. So if you value going to church, then you will start going to church, and maybe you'll meet a guy there. If you value going to college and getting a degree, you may go there, and the odds of you meeting a guy there that you like may happen. So the more you pour into yourself and start learning what you value, the odds of you doing those things and then meeting that guy who have those same values. It's so important, because the thing is, beauty is fleeting. Like, we're all gonna get old. I hate saying it. That's why he needs to see your parents. We're all gonna get old. All of our hair is going to fall off. All our skin is gonna get wrinkly. It just happens. So you're gonna need something besides, you know, looks to hold you together. Like that's just the reality of things. So, you know, having a good conversation, you know, like having the same interests and hobbies, and having like the same values of religion and children, I mean, those things are really hard to get. I'm sorry. If you meet a guy and you guys have the same value of like religion, how to raise children, he likes your family and you like his family, and you guys like financially like could work together, like got those 4 things, it don't matter if he's bald like and if he's smart, it wouldn't matter if you're bald, like really, because those things are just so hard to find. And I think men know that. Like, men know it's really hard to find a woman with character and value. And when they do find that, it's not that they would make an exception. I just feel that guys don't really, they could see past the facade of beauty because they're so used to it. Like, they're meeting girls all the time who have makeup on and wigs on and all of that, and then they go back to their guy friends, and then they're trying to figure out like what's fake and what's real, and how does she really look, like so I think that they really don't care. And tip number 3, and this one's going to be really tough to swallow, and I don't even know if I could articulate it really well, but I feel like it's like the missing link in our society. I feel like this is where our great-grandparents had successful relationships and why we may have so much divorces. Just don't be mad at me, because this is how you're gonna weed them guys out. I think the missing link is courting. Courting is a way for you to meet a lot of guys, to save yourself so much time and energy, which I think is so important, because after you're done with college, you're already like in your mid to late 20s. And I'm in my 30s, and I will tell you right now, having children at this age, it ain't easy. So the more guys you can court while you're earlier, the better off you will be as far as like getting a spouse. But when you're courting, it's like a way to like really protect yourself, because you're not dating someone. You're not emotionally invested in this person, and he's not emotionally invested in you. You're not having sex. So there are hormones associated if you're having sex with a person, like physically touching them or even kissing them. It's a hormone that you have like when you're breastfeeding a baby, and you feel like that's that bonding hormone. You feel, and that's how you develop, I mean, at least chemically in your body, that love. That's like one aspect of it. But that's also how you like, you don't like this guy, but then you love this guy. That's because there's a chemical reaction. So you do get an attachment if you're physical with a guy. So when you're courting, there's supposed to be like, there isn't supposed to be any physical contact really. That goes for him too. If he is like, engaging with anyone else, then he is not courting you. He is in a relationship, and you're out. You can't court him, and it's gonna save you time, because you think about it. And I thought about this when I was young. My friends dated guys for like 8-10 years, and then all of a sudden doesn't work out. You're like 25. You meet a guy. You're dating that one guy for 10 years. You're 35. I could tell you now, you feel like you wasted your good years, like when you're beautiful and young and could have, been investing times in other relationships. You wasted time on one person, right? And the other part of this thing about dating that I don't like is that, okay, let's say you start dating when you're 15. You're in a really long relationship. Then you're 25, you date someone else. Then you're 35, you date someone else. Well, let's say from 25 to 35, you get married. and you have like and then you have like a divorce, 35 to 40, you're with someone else. I mean, these long-spanned relationships that are, it's so full of commitment. But you really think about it, you've only really dated 3 people. And you meet people who have a type. You know, like I have a type. I know that about me. I have a type. And sometimes if you're only dating 3 people, you may not even pick up that pattern that you're dating the same guy. Like the same type of guy, and that type of guy ain't good for you. So if you court multiple people, you would know that, geez, I'm attracted to these guys, but they don't, they're not really doing anything for me, right? And if the guy is courting multiple girls, he's gonna really know is, yeah, she's pretty, but she got some character, you know, and then he could really figure out what really is important to him. And you could really figure out what's really important to you, because you may not get it, you know, and you're wasting, it's like when you're dating, you're playing wife. And they need to earn that wife card. You need a wife. You need to court. You need to court. So I feel like it's like saving you so much energy and time, and you're not boggled down by someone else's and you're not boggled down with like the stress of an actual relationship. It's kind of like saying, hey, we're courting, I like you, let's see where this goes. And when you break, it's not a big deal, because nothing has really happened. How many times have we been in a relationship and then 6 months later, you're like, oh man, like I didn't realize you had this side. Like, that's something that I really don't like, you know? And then you're thinking, man, should I break up? And it's like this whole big thing. Just don't date. Just court. And I'll tell you the main reason. I do have a point. I'm so sorry I'm so ranty, but I do have a point. I'll tell you the main reason. Because beauty is fleeting. Every single day, I know it's going to sound so morbid, because I think like this. It's so sad. Every single day, you are closer to death. It's really how I think. Every single day, you're closer to death. Every single day, you are older than you were yesterday. And you're aging, and you're actually decaying, right? I got one gray hair. It's right here. It's right here. It's from my husband, actually. I'm so serious. No, I'm so serious. That's his gray hair. All the crap he put me through. I love you, baby. He's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a good guy. Okay, so here's why. How can you test a guy to know that he's not going to cheat on you for someone? How do you, okay, just how do you know? How do you know your husband or your boyfriend or your spouse won't cheat on you? This is like just something I was just thinking about. I know, like, no, really, can you list it below, like comment below, because this is just my opinion. You may have another opinion, and I would honestly like to hear it. How do you know? Like, how do you know he will not cheat on you? You can't say because he said so. Don't say that. Like, it has to be some sort of action, right? Just don't say I trust him. Action. What can he do? What can he do to prove to you he will not cheat on you? So he will not cheat on you. It means that he will have self-control. Self-control against beauty, against temptation, right? And when you're beautiful and you're his temptation, if he cannot physically resist you, if he cannot control himself, from you, the girl that he's courting, then how can you trust him that he can control himself later on in life when you're decaying every day, getting older, and then, you know, and then all of a sudden there's prettier girls out there. Girls with like more thick, luscious hair, girls with bigger boobs. How do you know? If he can't control himself with you, how can he control himself with them? So I think courting is like the best way to put that guy to the test. That if he can resist you, he can resist someone else because he likes you. You see what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Nowadays, guys, they marry a girl that they love and they cheat on a girl that they love with someone they barely know. You realize our grandparents had to, like, not our grandparents, but like in the past, they would marry someone that they just met, like they was just arranged. And they would cheat on the person who was arranged for someone they actually loved. But now it's like backwards. It's like, you don't want that. It's like if he loves you and then wants you, but then can restrain himself, how much more restraint should he have when someone's just beautiful, you know, and he doesn't love them because he loved you when you were more pretty, you know, and when he loved you. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, this is kind of hard. This is kind of hard to explain because it's like in my head and I'm just trying to tell you, right? But I feel like that's the missing link, right? And here's another point. I hope you see the connection. If a guy has physical, like sexual control of himself, he also he could also control his anger. You understand what I'm saying? He could also control his emotions. You may want that guy who is like very passionate, you know, but then he's also very passionate at being angry and, you know, having a lack of self-control, and that is not great. It's not a good quality in a spouse. And I'm saying that to court because it's gonna open a door for you that I never even had the opportunity to like really delve into, because as I'm saying, like, I think so differently now than I did when I was in my 20s. I wish someone told me about this because I always just thought it was dating or being single, and I didn't want to date. So I just thought, oh, I should just be single. And I was like, no, you should have been courting. Like, you know, you should, a guy should take you on a date and you should just talk to them. You should just hang out. But I say all that because it's going to give you choices. And you're going to learn that there's fishes out there. And it's going to help you gain confidence in yourself. And you're going to learn your own value. And it'll help you make decisions. It'll help you start choosing the right guy. When there's only one guy out there, you're dating one guy, it's like life and death if he doesn't marry you, right? But you're dating, you're courting a bunch of guys, you're like, I could be honest. And you'll tell one of them, yeah, I have thin hair. You'll tell another one, and you'll see their reaction, and you'll see what's important. And then you can really start comparing, you know? And if you court a bunch of guys, right? Like a bunch of guys, and your friend is in a relationship with one person, it's like you have years of experience versus just dating one person. Yes, they may have more experience in sex, but trust me, if a guy is interested in pleasing you, like making you dinner, you know, picking up after you once in a while, helping you with this, helping you with that. He is going to be interested in pleasing you in every level, because that's his character. That's who he is. And you don't want guys just to like please you, you know, because I'll tell you the truth. Once you have children and you have a job and you have your own business like I do, I'm in a hotel right now. I've been in a hotel all month. This is my last night here. All month. I'm not having nothing. And my husband isn't having nothing either. And I need to know that, gosh, can you go a whole month? You know, like, can you go a whole month? Yeah, he can, and I can. Because we've done that when we dated. And so I have nothing to worry about. He has nothing to worry about, you know? And so, I know, I'm sorry, I'm not even getting to my point. My point is that 5-10 years down the relationship, he's going to see someone prettier than you. And will he be able to control himself against that? And that's how you can know if a guy can control himself or not. So, courting, you got a guy who has self-control. When a guy has self-control, you're going to respect him. He's going to respect himself. And then you gotta have a guy who has value. Value in things that really matter, right? And then, you know, he's going to meet your parents and be accepting, you know, and you know, he's not turned off by that or whatever. He doesn't think that he can't handle it. This is the type of guy that you should be looking for. Stop worrying about, you know, that one person, because that one person is your decision. You know, when, you know, people say, I fell in love with this guy and like I couldn't help myself. No, you can help yourself. Marrying someone is a decision you're gonna make, and you have a choice. You have, you know, that's why that whole courting thing emphasizes so much, because you have a choice. And don't marry someone who's not going to accept you. So I have a terrible past. I didn't grow. I actually had some very traumatic events that happened to me when I was really, really young, and it's very depressing. And, you know, I met my husband in college, and he seemed to like me. Now, a bunch of guys liked me, but they weren't pursuing me. They weren't like, Rachel, I want to take you out on a date. They just liked me, but there was no actions. So here's my thing. If a guy doesn't say he likes me, doesn't make any, like, doesn't say, Rachel, I really like you, I want to take you on a date, then in my head, he doesn't like me. But like my husband, he was like, he was very persistent. Like, he was persistent, and he wanted to like hang out with me every day. And I was like, you know what, I really like this guy, and I respect him for like having some sort of, I don't want to say BALLS, I want to, like, you know, he a lot of guys just, they like me, but they wouldn't make a move. Don't get me wrong, my husband avoided me 3 months before he talked to me. That's like, I have a I have another channel called Rachel and Tony, and we talked about how we met. Like, we were just having dinner, and it's like a mukbang, and we talked about how we met. But he avoided me for 3 months straight. But then finally, he got it together, and you know, he pursued me, and I was like, you know, this guy seemed to really, really be interested. And like I said, I wanted to be single because I never really heard of courting when I was in my 20s. And you know, and I just thought, I don't want to waste his time. I don't want to waste his time. I don't want to wait to a point where he starts liking me more than he just, you know, does. Like, let me tell him everything. Everything terrible about me, that will turn him off, that will be like, running for the hills, she got a lot of baggage, like, she got problems, run now. Because there was no commitment in our relationship at this point. You know, we just met each other. We actually, like, nothing happened between us. Like, we were just, like, at that, you know, we were actually courting without courting, actually, because we were just kind of like friends, but we knew that we liked each other. But I thought that once I tell him about me and about, like, all the crap I've been through, that he would literally run for the hills. Honestly, I thought that he would just be like, I can't deal with this. Like, I can't deal with this girl who has so much problems and issues. And he didn't. Like, he didn't. He just held me, and I cried, and he, you know, and he was really understanding. And it was nice, because then it was like, okay, he accepts the worst part about me. Like, he accepts, like, my shadow. You know, everyone has, like, you know, we're human. We all have things in our life that isn't pretty, and he accepts that about me. And now I could, like, show him the other side. Like, I could show him me, you know, the side that's an architectural designer, and I could show him the side that, you know, I could look pretty when I want to look pretty, and I could be very funny when I want to be funny. So I could show him both sides. But honestly, telling him first was kind of like there's no point dating me, start having feelings for me, wanting to be in a relationship with me, only to find out this girl got problems and I can't handle it, and we just wasted our time and energy, right? So he told me, like, some things that he'd been through, and I remember he told me, and he was crying, and I told him it's okay, like, it's okay, and I accept that about him, and he accepts things about me, and it's so important, you know. But when you're courting multiple guys, it's not a big deal, because there's one, he doesn't like it, oh well, there's another, you know. But yeah, I just think that being upfront, being honest, accepting yourself is what you need to do. Because here's the thing, you need to really tell yourself this. God made you. There is not another human being in this whole world that is like you. Like, no one can look like you, no one can act like you, no one can think like you. And it's an absolute sin to try to be like someone else, because God already made that person to be who they are. But it is absolutely a sin to try to act like someone else, because you have a purpose designed for your life that only you can accomplish. And it's so important for you to see the value within you. You are more than just your physical appearance. Like, this is just my physical appearance, and it's going to decay. And so if you don't have some more substance to that, then you're just left with trying to keep up with the Jones on trying to look good. You see what I'm saying? You have a purpose in life. It's just there is this ideal standard of beauty, and I need to say it. It's fake. is absolutely fake. Those girls that you see on TV that are so darn beautiful, guess what? Guess what? They had stuff done. They had work done. Yeah, they did. They have work done. And you may say, oh, well, it's not surgery, but yeah, it's also Botox, it's injections, it's this, it's that. They have hair extensions on even though their hair is already thick. And that's the thing, like, I see people's, like, girls, I talk to them and they're like, I have thin hair. And I'm like, you don't have thin hair. Like, their hair is like this thick. I'm like, where do you get that from? You get that because you're seeing women on TV who already have normal hair wear a bunch of hair extensions, so their hair is like this wide, and then you start thinking that's normal. That's not normal. And on top of them already pretty to begin with, plastic surgery, then they have on makeup, then they're airbrushed, then there's like, it's just so unrealistic. And you gotta understand, people who are on TV, it's their job to be beautiful. Like, that's their career. Imagine it was your career to look beautiful. Like, I don't get to go to, like, a meeting and be like, okay, well, it's my job to, like, work out for an hour. No, it's not our job to go work out for an hour. And it's not our job to get facials and stuff like that. So, of course, we don't look like that. Like, duh. But you need to start seeing the value of yourself and respecting you, because God made you. There's no one else who could replace you, to be you, and you have a purpose. Whatever that purpose is, it could be really, really big or small. I have this amazing story that I want to share, but I want to get the facts right. Like, and it shows how it's so powerful, but I need to get the facts right. Like, I just don't want to tell you and butcher it, because that's what I always do. I just butcher all my stories. But like, I just want you, see, it's the truth is, it's not about loving you, because you know you. You know the good and you know the bad, and you know that you're not perfect, and you know that you're not all good. It's about loving the Creator who created you, because then you see that it's grace, that you're even here, that something created you, which is why you're here. And you don't have to be here, and you're here for some sort of reason. And then when you keep thinking that, you know, that makes me feel special, because I'm a designer, so it's like, when I design buildings, right? When I design buildings, you have no idea. I mean, years of planning, years of talking to engineers and contractors and to the owner of the property, and sometimes I have to talk to, like, the taxpayers, and I'm talking to the people who would just be working in the building. I'm talking to people who's going to be responsible for the technology. Years of, like, taking everyone and everything, and just trying to, because that's what an architect does. They take what everybody needs, and try to make it work, and try to make things not collide together. So we have to make sure that the mechanical stuff doesn't interfere with the plumbing stuff. And everything has to come together so cohesively and so perfectly. And so sometimes people who are not designers come in and they're like, why is that there? Like, that could just be moved over. And I'm like, no, 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 no. It cannot be moved over, because you do not understand how important every little piece of this is. Like, you have no idea how much thought is put into it. And because of that, because I know how much damn thought and input and like brain racking thing, like just to get a building out there, you know, like, there's so much, I can't even understand, I can't even explain it. There's so much reasoning behind it, and even psychology behind it. Like, when we design things, we don't just design it. We look at the existing structure. Well, me and my boss will sit there for like an hour and watch people, how they interact. Like, we will watch them, how to interact in the space. Like, what are they, what do you think they're feeling? You know, we're really just analyzing everything. We're like, I'm not just like, you know, the building itself, like how everything's going to work in it. We have to analyze how people are going to feel and function in it. And then on top of that, we have to make it look beautiful. And then we pick out every single material on it. Like, I pick out the colors and the fabrics and every single little detail that everyone's just like, you know. Every little thing is made by choice. And that's how I think of like how someone designed you, because DNA is just code. That's code. It's like a computer code. It's like a book written. Your DNA tells you so much about you. There's no way that can't be like there's so much design behind that it's like, it's crazy to think that you were here by accident. Like, it's just crazy. So it's like, I'm sorry, but you just need to feel that. You need to feel that. It doesn't matter if you don't understand why you're here. Just know that you're here. Because I say it all the time. We have, because I'm a designer, and there's things after the fact, and I'm like, man, I didn't think about that. Oh gosh, I made a mistake here. But I realized that I have a certain level of thinking that I can't break through. All right, I hate saying it like that because, you know, it's a little bit ego right there, you know, but we have, and every species of animal have that. I'm getting tired. But like, you know, you look at a cat. You can't teach a cat how to text. You know, you can't because they don't have that level of thinking. And there's so much I don't understand about this world and this universe and about things. Because the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. Right? I mean, you could watch a lot of like how things are made in the planet, and what it really boils down to is the Big Bang. And then you have to really question, well, where those atoms came from, or aliens, and you're like, where those aliens came from, you know? So it's like you realize how much you don't know the more you know. Our math system is all made up. You know, it's a way for us to pick out patterns and communicate, but it's all made up. Our English language is all made up. You can make up a language too. And then you realize how much you don't know. So, so that's where belief comes in, and that's where I think it's important for you to believe good things about yourself. It's important for you to tell yourself a good story, that you are here for a reason, you're here for a purpose. You deserve a guy who has realistic expectations of you. You deserve a guy who has good values. Because if he values himself, he's going to want to have someone with good values as well. And you deserve a guy who, you know, has self-control. And that's like, if you got a guy who got self-control, ain't got values, ain't got expectations. So I'm really sorry that this video was so ranty. I'm like really thirsty. I'm like, you know, I hope you can understand that I just didn't want to just make some points and just give it to you. I really just wanted to talk to you like a friend. Like if you were my friend, I wouldn't want to just rush the conversation, just give you 3 points and then run away. And I also didn't want to like research a bunch of things and then just give, like, regurgitate what other people said. This is just my thinking and things that have helped me. And I mean, gosh, I didn't know about courting. I didn't really think about, you know, that aspect of meeting their parents and how it would impact me. And now knowing, like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I am my mom. Like, you know how I know? I'm gonna tell you how I know. I'm gonna tell you. Because I have polka dot clothing, and I remember my mom having a polka dot dress, and she would always wear it, and we would always be like, ew, Mom, don't wear that. Like, that's like, I think I remember that my sister hid her polka dot dress because we didn't like it, and she wore it so much. But now I wear polka dots, like, literally, and my kids, they shame me. They shame me. They really shame me, and I'm like really feeling myself, like I really like this outfit. Oh, and this, if my mom saw this shirt, you don't know. You do not know. She would take it. She would take it. This is my mom. My mom would love this shirt, and I love it. Like, I am literally becoming my mom. And your husband or your potential spouse will also be like becoming like their parents, because my husband is. Like, he really is though. And so that's why it's important, you know, for you to meet their parents as well, so that you know where their values are at. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about, there shouldn't be any fear about some guy liking you or leaving you. No, honey. You're the asset. And I think, like, women don't get that. Like, men like you. They like you. You know why? You know why? Oh, gosh. They like you. They really do. Let me ask my husband. I'm going to call him up. Let me call him up. I'm gonna see. Let me see. Where's my phone? Oh gosh. Where's my phone? Hey babe, I'm making a YouTube video, so I am recording.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
When you met me...
Yeah.
Okay, so...
When I snatched you up.
Okay, so... I was talking about values, right? But what attracted you to me? What attracted you to me, right? I said that right? Why were you...
Yeah.
Why?
What attracted me to you?
Yeah. Oh, he probably tried putting me on speaker. Hold on, let me try it. Let me try him again. Right?
Do you mean when I first saw you, when we first talked?
Yeah, but like after you met me.
Okay, after we met, okay, then that's a different question. After we met, like not the very first time, but we don't know each other. I found it interesting. You were very ladylike. You carry yourself like a woman, and I found that very attractive. You weren't stupid. That's like the biggest thing. Like I hate dumb girls. Dumb girls are a bad thing, and I don't mean dumb like you don't. I don't mean dumb like you don't know things. I mean like foolish, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Like, go ahead.
So okay. I figured out the question to ask you. What?
Want to start over then?
No. What?
Okay.
I figured out the question to ask you. What were the 3 values that you were looking for? Like if a person had this, you would be like, that's the person for me.
And these are values. Okay. Number one was strength. I wanted to be with someone who wasn't weak. And that's just how what I'm used to as far as just the women in my family and life. So strength is one. Number 2 is moral character. If you asked me back then would I have said moral character like that, I probably wouldn't have the words, but a woman of good morals means a lot to me, who carries herself like a lady, who respects herself and her relationships. And also, I guess that goes along with moral character as far as being committed to getting married and being together. So I said moral character. What else did I say? Strength, and then
Commitment.
well, commitment goes with moral character, so that kind of all goes together. But I'll say I think just having someone who is down for me.
Gotcha.
Who's not gonna just like poop on all my dreams or like just tell me everything is stupid. But like you, honey, you don't tell me nothing is stupid. You're like, all right, go do it then. You know what I mean? And that's something that means a lot. Because as a man, we want to be respected. So just that, the women don't understand. Like that's the sexiest thing you can do to a man is respect him.
That is true. He's been reading the Love and Respect book.
Yeah, I have. It's been helping me. If any guy listeners out there and like the audience is got their man around, fellas, read that. Well, don't read it. I listen to it on audio. I don't feel like reading it, but guys, listen to that book. It'll help you so much, and it'll make things so clear. You'll be like, really? Even now, guys, I'm like, so she just wants me to listen to her talk and not say anything, not try to fix it. Okay, it works.
All right, honey. Thank you so much.
That's it.
That's it. Love you.
I love you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Legit though, that Love and Respect book, like me and my girlfriends, we would be like, yeah, I had to read that book again. I had to pick it up last night. And it's kind of like a subtle way for us to know, like, okay, they got in a fight or things are just not well. It's just like, yeah, I've been reading that Love and Respect book. I actually got it for my wedding as a wedding present, and it's probably one of the best presents you could get someone getting in a relationship. So yeah, I'm sorry this was so ranty, but I hope you really appreciate this. Is just me. Like, this is just who I am. Like, I'm sorry. I really can't, I can't really help being me. So, thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. I really hope that this was a blessing to you. I hope to see that you are just so wonderful and special. And because of that, respect yourself. And don't let anyone disrespect you. Because you're beautiful in your own way. And you know, we're just so used to seeing this ideal beauty all the time. I feel like we're just brainwashed. Like, that's just not how it is. All right, so yeah, you go out there, you court, you meet those guys. You don't give any of the goodies up until they want to like put a ring on it, okay? And yeah, if he doesn't, listen, if he's so shallow that he's like, he really cares about your hair and your looks, the honest truth is that you won't have that hair, you won't have those looks for the rest of your life. So if if it's so much value in that, then what's gonna happen when, you know, you grow old? You don't want that guy. You don't want that guy, because that's, you know, there's nothing lasting in that. So bye guys, you have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed day. Bye.